Hot girl summer is coming to a close, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. In my early 20s, I felt all kinds of pressure to be that girl in the summer, and the harder I tried, the messier the summer would become. Yikes. But it wasn't until I was about 30 that I started to recognize that pattern, because it was the most obvious when I looked at the track record of my business. Like clockwork, every summer I would try and launch something, and it would either totally flop or I'd find myself breaking down and burning out sometime around late July. What do they say? Twice is a coincidence and 3 times is a pattern? After about 3 years of seeing this pattern in my business, I decided to take a step back and see what other patterns were there. Turns out there were all kinds of interesting patterns. There were consistent times of the year when I'd have bursts of fresh ideas, and times when I'd have more energy for creating, and times when it seemed like all eyes were on me and people couldn't buy my programs fast enough. And when I whipped out my handy-dandy Astro Chart, it was pretty easy to follow and predict those patterns. No more fighting to swim upstream. This is the definition of flow. Want to learn how to use your own astrological blueprint to help you create your small business plan in alignment with your natural energy patterns? In this video, I'll explain how the astrological wheel breaks down into seasons and what to look for in your chart to make your personalized plan of action. In case you're new here, I'm Fanny. I've been a solopreneur since 2014, helping other solopreneurs to simplify and streamline their small businesses with astrology since 2017. I upload new videos every Friday, so make sure you're subscribed and tap the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss a thing. Before we look at your own chart, let's take a quick opportunity to look at the astrological wheel and how it differs from the 12-month calendar that we use to track our time. And later, I'll share some practical action steps that just make sense for you to take during each of the 4 seasons in your small business. So you might want to pause and grab a notebook if you need one. The astrological new year begins at the start of spring, usually on March 21st or 22nd when the sun moves into Aries. This first quarter of the astro year encompasses the signs of Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. The spring season is a time to prepare the ground and plant the seeds we'll be nurturing for harvest later on in the fall. The next quarter in the astro year begins at the summer solstice on June 21st or 22nd when the sun moves into Cancer. The summer is made up of the signs of Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. This season is a time for taking care of what we planted in the spring, emotionally, energetically, and physically. And of course, getting regular reminders to take care of ourselves too, so that we have enough to give back. The fall comes at the start of Libra season when the sun moves signs on September 21st or 22nd. This quarter of the year is home to Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. This is the season to make collaborative partnerships, harvest and sort through what you grew throughout the year, and let everyone know what's ready for sale. And finally, we have the winter season to wrap up our astrological year, which starts at the solstice on December 21st or 22nd when the sun moves into Capricorn. The last 3 signs of the astro year are in this quarter: Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Traditionally, the winter is a time to rest and reflect on how things went for you this year, and to prime yourself for the upcoming year with fresh intentions and fresh materials, but with new knowledge and experience to guide you. So as we keep going in this video, I want you to think about what it would look like for you to set your annual business goals with this concept in mind, working a little slower and more intentionally toward achieving 1 or 2 larger goals that'll get accomplished in stages throughout the seasons of the year, rather than, say, setting 5 to 10 new goals a month. Okay, so now that you have a better understanding of the energetic themes of each astro season, is it that easy? Can you go run off and follow those seasons? Planting your seeds in Taurus season, harvesting in Scorpio? Well, yes and no, really. I'm a firm believer that you can make anything work at any time, regardless of where the stars happen to be right now. But this isn't about making things work. It's about stepping into the effortlessness of flow, isn't it? So let's try and make this a little more personal. Go grab your Astro Chart. I like to use astro.com. You'll need the full birth date, time, and location of where you were born. Call your mom if you don't know. When you pull up your chart, it should look something like this. No matter what your chart looks like, they'll all have 12 signs spanning the circumference of the circle. I want you to scan your eyes around your chart until you see Aries. Make note of where this is located in your chart. Is it in the lower hemisphere or the upper hemisphere? Is it on the right side or the left? Now look over to the left-hand side of the chart where it says ASC or ascendant. You may have heard this called your rising sign. What sign is there in your chart? And if that's your rising, what sign is directly across from that? Okay, let's sleuth out one more thing, and then I'll show you how to use these details as a framework for your annual business plan. The ascendant and descendant are easy to see because of that bold cross shape that goes through your chart. Now, look at the other axes, the MC and the IC. What signs do you have there? Now, before you move on, you may also want to make note of any overall observations about your placements. Do you see more clustered, or are things more scattered? If you do see clusters, where are those located? If you've been following along so far, you should have a few details nailed down. Where Aries is in your chart, what signs are on each of the 4 astrological axes, and whether your placements are more scattered or more clustered. Now, maybe you're super lucky and you're an Aries rising, or you have a cluster of placements right under your ascendant. Congratulations! The universe gave you the option to play this game on easy mode because you're already synced up with the natural astro seasons. Now, for the rest of us, it can be a little tricky to know exactly when our spring begins, but I've got 2 primary strategies for figuring this out with my clients. Strategy number 1, lead with the rising sign. This strategy tends to work better for folks with scattered placements. You'll use your rising sign as your time to prepare and plant seeds, with your summer beginning at your IC, your fall at your DC, and your winter at your MC. If you've got a chart with more scattered placements, I'd love to know in the comments. How does this shift in energetic timing feel for you? Strategy number 2, lead with your power clusters. For folks with more clustered placements, you may already be feeling like you can spot those patterns in your cycles. Like me. With all that Capricorn and Aquarian energy, it's no wonder that I have almost nothing to give when the sun is over on the opposite side in Cancer and Leo. I personally consider my spring to start somewhere at the end of Virgo season, my summer begins around Sagittarius season, my fall starts around Pisces season, and I'm ready to settle in for the winter toward the middle of Gemini season. If you've got a chart with more clustered placements, I'd love to hear from you in the comments too. Do you feel like you can sense your seasons? Okay, that was a lot, and we're almost done, but I don't want to leave you without giving you some action steps for a jumping off point in each of your 4 astro business seasons. Action steps for spring season: mapping out your strategy, building your audience, engaging with people one-on-one, and setting up back-end systems. Action steps for summer season: hyping and priming your audience, sharing your creations and offers, marketing to the results, and launching that offer. Action steps for fall season: that launch, post-launch glow, selling what you made, and stepping back to appreciate all your hard work coming to fruition. And finally, action steps for winter season: mostly relaxing with loved ones, maintaining at the most, reflecting on the year, and preparing for the next one. Reflecting on the seasons, your chart, and how you feel right now. Which season do you think you're in? Let me know in the comments. If you're looking for some support figuring out your own astro seasons for planning in your small business, you should really think about joining my mastermind, The Disruptor's Den, before doors close on September 22nd for our Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius season focus on all things branding. You won't want to miss it. Tap the link in the description below to learn more and enroll before time runs out. Thanks so much for watching to the end. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed for future videos, and do me a solid and tap the like button so YouTube can get this video in front of the eyeballs of more cool people like you.